Okay, continuing with lesson 13, we're going to be talking about color. And earlier I mentioned we're trying to make color adjustments, or we're making color looks. So the first one, color adjustments, would be matching all the clips in your scene so they would have matching color, brightness, contrast, basically allowing them to look like they were shot at the same time with the same sort of lighting. And that's basic color correction. That's going to be something where everything's just trying to be overall nice and evenly lit, where you're not trying to create a style. When you start getting into a style, that is considered a look. Another word for look you might hear when you're dealing with color is LUT, and that's lookup table. And basically that is a preset for applying some sort of look, which is the color style, to specific clips. And that's going to add a particular tonality or color tint to it versus just basic color correction where you're trying to get everything balanced. The color correction is aimed at standardizing the shots to make sure they fit together and to improve the appearance in general. That is more of a craft than an art. So the first one that we're talking about with the basic color correction, you can view as a craft, just generalizing what you're doing. And again, with that look, which is considered color grading or a LUT, you're looking to achieve something that conveys an atmosphere of the story more completely, and that's considered an art. So Walking Dead is a good example. Most of you have probably seen at least a little bit of it, but it's got that very dingy orangish tones to it. That is definitely considered a color grading, a look, or a LUT being applied to that film, because that's not its natural, even basic color balance. We're going to be also looking at the color editing workspace. So if your computer is set up still for editing or audio, since we've been in some of those chapters, go ahead and choose color here at the top, and it's going to open up some different panels. This is going to be new, so we've had our sound stuff over here before, but now it's something called Lumetri Color, and in the next video I'll get into all these different sections, and there's a lot of really great stuff we can do with Lumetri Color. You're going to have your timeline, of course. You still have your project panel, and you can adjust this stuff if you need to see a little bit more, such as that. And then up here where our source is, we also have our Lumetri Scopes. And don't get scared when you see scopes. When they come up, if it will come up for me, it's taking a moment. Okay, I clicked on this area and it finally appeared. I think it was just being slow processing, and again, I go back to talking about computer having enough processing power to operate all this stuff. So I just clicked off source to Lumetri Scopes, and this is going to be the first one that you see. And there's different ones that you can choose here. And these scopes are a visual representation of graphs of your color. So as you learn more about each of them and how to read them, it's basically showing you what we're seeing here, over here in a graphical representation. So not all of it's always going to be filled in. The chapter is telling us to go ahead and right click in the center of this panel, and you pull up several different options here. It wants us to change to vector scope YUV. Currently we're on a waveform, so choose that one. And then right click again. Our parade type, it wants RGB, so if that's not already selected, mine was, go ahead and choose another one to match that, so choose the RGB. And then lastly, it's also wanting us to do waveform type, and it wants me to change to YC, so I'm going to choose that as well. So this here each provides a little bit different data. One of the things you can notice with this panel is this footage has green and yellow as its primary colors. And I can tell that because you can see the letters for the color representation and wherever the most color is getting filled in. And this graph will change based on whatever clip you're on. So this clip has much more yellow hitting into the red tones, whereas that last one we were more down here in the green and yellow. And also notice that this scope changed as well. There's a lot more color data in here. The leaves did not provide as much. It still has it, but depending on your lighting and how the stuff moves along, this scope will change as you scrub through your footage. So you can see as it varies. So as you get more familiar with looking at these scopes, they can aid you with your color correction. The other thing, as I've been scrubbing through this stuff, you'll notice that the clips follow along as far as whatever's highlighted where your playhead is, it highlights the clip that you're working on. So that's a nice functionality if you're moving back and forth to see if the color from one clip to the next looks correct, because whichever one you're on is the one that it will be being affected here in the Lumetri Color panel. Of course, you do have the option that that can be turned off, and if you wanted to change it, you could go to your sequence selection follows playhead and disable that. But I actually like that feature, so I want to leave this on. I think it's a nice feature because that way I know which one I'm on and it's working and it moves along with what I'm visually seeing, because I like seeing the image here in addition to just having these scopes. So I think that's beneficial. All right, in the next video we'll take an in-depth look here at the Lumetri Color panel, but that was an overview of our color workspace.